Hello and welcome to Free Cheese episode 374. I am your Joe Dix, joined by Matt Zellner.
Hello.
Marc Augustiniak.
What's up?
The Free Cheese is a weekly video game podcast about video games brought to you once a week by thefreecheese.com, coming to you not live, but recording on Halloween. Mark's got the spookiest of basements. I got a door that I hope doesn't open up behind me, now in my periphery.
Oh, I hope it
Matt,
does.
you got the cozy kitchen fall up top there.
Says Happy Halloween right there. Boom.
I know, it's like a nice, it makes me feel warm and happy. You know what I mean? Like it's a nice banner.
Got a ghost playing classic rock next door. Like, haunts me every day.
Like, the part of me that has to deal with all the audio crap and editing and stuff is happy that we can't hear him, but
I wish you could.
Part of me that's an idiot is really sad that we can't hear your drumming neighbor. Now that's every Saturday. That's all day for you from 10 till...
Oh, like he usually starts around 10 a.m. and then probably goes for about maybe a half hour at most.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How is that working with... I don't know where your sleep schedule's at, but I know that... I'm sure over the summer at some point... Were you ever sleeping at that point where you're woken up by the drums? Or has that happened?
Like, it's muffled just enough to where I don't think the decibels are loud enough to, like, do anything. But there are times where I've woken up because something else was going on, and he just happens to be playing at the same time. So it's just like a rude awakening times 2.
And it's always Kashmir by Led Zeppelin, right?
It's Kashmir, it's Don't Let Me Down by the Beatles, it's Everybody Hurts by R.E.M., which I found out doesn't even have drums in it. I listened to it.
He's trying to bring a new element to the band.
I listened to it for
That's
for
what
science.
That sounds like to me.
Because he keeps the same. All these songs had the same exact beat, just bass, snare. Oh wait, it's bass, hi hat, snare, bass, hi hat, snare, hi hat, bass, hi hat, snare. Like it's just that's it, just that the entire time. Every song doesn't matter, same rhythm, never stops. And then I guess he just does that through that Everybody Hurts song. But like, I listened to it and we were like. Me and my friend were like, "Where's the drums?" He's adding to it.
Well,
why?
When you're a drummer, you'll do that, man. You'll get innovative. You'll get creative. I used to put when I was in high school learning guitar. I would put guitar in things where it didn't belong because it was fun.
Yeah, I guess just because he just has the same exact slow beat, I know he's not pushing himself to strive for better.
So you want him to do better?
I seriously, like, I'm sure I've said it before, but like, if I could hear him just like play Master of Puppets out of nowhere or something, yeah. I would join him. I would turn on my guitar and join him.
Yeah, you just hear Wait and Bleed kick in through the walls.
Oh my
Everything's
god,
gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Matt, I saw the orange light come on for a second. What happened?
Yeah, it's not a good... It doesn't come off good. It just looks like a light.
It looked orange. I knew what you were doing, so it came off fine.
I'm fine. Here, I'll put it back on.
Yeah,
sorry, just tap my desk. Boom.
See?
Boom.
That's an orange light. I got nothing.
I got like a string of orange lights above my bed that have like black little tattered tapers that I'm never taking down.
Did I tell you all that the Halloween decorations got ruined?
What'd you do?
The mailman tripped over one of the thingies that we've got shoved in the ground. It's like a string of ghosts and snapped the cable. We got 2 out of 5 ghosts what are lit up.
This is why the post office is going away. They destroy your decorations.
Destroying your stuff, man.
I don't know why that reminded me of Home Alone. Whenever they keep, like, the pizza dude comes up, wherever parks, they always hit that statue in front of their house.
Yeah, exactly. Pizza guy's got a bad rap. As a former pizza guy, I was very conscious of everything I did, Made sure food got there. I was respectful of people's property. I didn't smoke cigarettes in the car with their food. Waited until I was on the drive back. Very conscious.
I never really had a bad pizza delivery guy. Like,
nah, well, I've definitely had that and worked with them.
I mean, like, I've had the food be kind of bad, but I never had, like, the person handing me the food ever really be whatever.
There was one guy who... I learned quickly that you are not going to get tipped well every single time. It's just not going to happen. And there's two ways you can deal with that. You can be angry and agitated every time it happens, like most of the people I worked with. Or you can go, yeah, all right, whatever, next time. Because it's going to happen. There's just nothing you can do about it. You could go the extreme route, like the one dude I worked with, who every time he got tipped in change, would save the change with the address, and after his shift, go back and throw the change at the houses.
Wow.
My favorite part about those stories, though, too, is that, like, when you hear stuff like that, you're like, oh, yeah, Joe, you were, like, in your, I don't know how old I was when I was working there, early 20s. So there's probably kids, no, these are, like, 40, 50-year-old dudes that were just like, I'll get him. And get him they shall. You guys, this week, we had a heck of a week, and we're going to start with the biggest news story of all. The Final Fantasy XVI teaser website and main characters have been revealed. This week, Square Enix launched the official teaser website for Final Fantasy XVI. There's new key artwork and features the game's protagonist. Ready for the name? Clive Rosefield. There's some teases about the larger world in Final Fantasy XVI, how summons, which in this world are known as icons, that's spelled E-I-K-O-N-S, of course you didn't need me to spell that, how they're going to be handled. It seems like some of these are going to be treated as royalty, gods among men, and then others will be used as weapons, and I guess that'll play into the story in a larger piece. And they referred back to some of the ones you could probably recognize in the initial trailer shown off. They also show two other named characters, brother of Clive, Joshua Rosefield, and Jill Warwick. My question to you two is, do these sound like Final Fantasy character names?
No, they sound like Resident Evil names.
I was thinking Chris Redfield.
And then you got Jill in there.
Yeah, dude. It like very much so. I don't know what Yoshi P is up to over there, but
yeah, Clive Rosefield, come on. Chris Redfield, come on.
Capcom was like, you can copy my homework, just anymore. Make it different.
It's very much that.
It's like someone copied homework, but you change a couple of the numbers to make it a little. Yeah, that's exactly what Square Enix just did.
Yeah. That's
you got the great value Resident Evil names.
What do you think the direction was behind this? Like, was that we need to get more Westerners into this, and they don't like names like Noctis? Or what was the direction here?
I thought Noctis was a dope name.
I thought so too, man. But we also gave Nier Automata Game of the Year 2017, so I don't know if we are the traditional Western audience.
I mean, Clive...
2B is a traditional English name.
It's true. That's very true.
Yeah, like, Clive, I mean, the only other name I've really aligned that with is Clive Barker. So, like, I'm okay with that name. Like, I'm even fine with the last name. It doesn't... That one might be the most closest sounding out of the three. Like, there's no way Joshua Rosefield... Or is it Rosefield?
Joshua Rosefield sounds like a background character from the X-Files. Like, that's not a... Yeah. It doesn't sound like a Final Fantasy protagonist.
Like, his name is Joshua. We don't...
Yeah.
But it doesn't...
Not
I don't
into
know.
it.
I mean, I guess you run out somewhere.
If you are
but then you just start with the Greek alphabet.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite
like the Hurricanes do.
Deltas and Omegas. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, my favorite character is Kane Highwind.
That's a name, man.
That's a name.
Tara Bramford. That's a heckin' name.
Oh, yeah, Tara is kind of a basic name, isn't it?
Well, but she's named after the Earth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're looking for a more traditional Final Fantasy naming convention and series, Nintendo got out with another Nintendo Direct Mini this week, the final third-party, or what was it, partner showcase of the year. Kicking off things with Bravely Default 2, which, as you know, kind of picks up where Final Fantasy 3-5 left off. Bravely Default 2 has a new release date set for February 26th, 2021. While the game technically did get slip out of its 2020 target date, it is in the wake of developers receiving and using feedback from 20,000 players, and they've effectively used it in the game to change difficulty, to change different aspects of it. There's a full video on YouTube, which I have a note in the notes here to make sure I watched the video before we recorded, and I didn't. But I know that difficulty options are the one big thing that changed in this. But it seems like if you are chasing that traditional old school Final Fantasy approach, this is there with the full job system. Seems like the job system is even more fleshed out from Bravely Default 1 or 2nd end layer or whatever the heck it was. But this is very much the like, hey, we're going to save the crystal kind of Final Fantasy games. Any interest in Bravely Default 2 from either of you? How does this sit versus Final Fantasy 16 for you?
This is not up my alley.
But Matt, I mean, even like, does Final Fantasy 16 sit with you, right? Like coming off of 7 and the hype from this year.
That's just like in general. Usually JRPGs like this are not my go-to cup of tea.
7 is like the exception to the rule for you.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like every third one I put some time in. So 7, 10, unfortunately, okay. 13.
Okay.
So we're ready. It's 16.
16 might be the one.
Yeah.
Let me know if you want to jump into 14. All I need is an excuse.
Well, I mean, Marc? You got these good names. I'm sorry. Clive Rosfield, they're bringing me in.
Well, yeah, that's how they pull you back in,
yeah.
Right? A name like Lightning, that grabbed you. Marc, how about you? Bravely Default 2?
I never got into Bravely Default. I guess I'm just not... I like JRPGs, but I don't like them that much. Like, it just seems like... I don't know. It just seems like a big investment, and I do like the art style, but at the same time, I'm just not... It's like Square's trying to make... It's like they're trying to branch off from Final Fantasy, but it's kind of like if your mom left your dad and then ended up with somebody very similar to your dad. It's like, what are you doing? Why did you even leave?
But it's like how your dad used to be in the 80s when he was cool, you know?
It's like
that.
I guess if it was more like 8-bit, I could understand that, but I don't know. It seems like it was a product of the DS era, and it's just trying to live off of that. And I don't know.
I'm with you. I really want to like this because I like the spirit of what it is, but something about it, I didn't love the demo I played. Maybe it's because it was hard. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I know that was big feedback from the demo is that you would get killed by like the simplest little enemies in the game.
Like 16 looks so appealing because yes, it still has like, Final Fantasy. It checks all the boxes, right? But I'm liking that they still have like a more Western medieval approach to it. There's like a sense of dark fantasy to it, and Bravely Default doesn't have like dark fantasy. It's just like everything's beautiful and pretty all the time, and that just bores me.
I agree.
Yeah.
I definitely like the aesthetic of 16. That key art poster they have for 16 is really rad too. Just like with the warring icons in the background, and then Clive Rosefield up front. I want to call him Rosenfield for some reason. How about Hitman 3 and Control Ultimate Edition? Both coming as cloud versions. Control available now, Hitman 3 after it launches. These are weird. They're the full games running via cloud. With Control, you have to download you download it, period. It's free. You have to try it to confirm that your connection is stable enough to handle the cloud streaming, and then you're allowed to buy it. Is this the future for video games? Like, with xCloud, with every other thing becoming streaming, like, do you see this, especially you think about something like the Switch that is so convenient and the, like, kind of portability of it. Do you feel like this is where things are headed? Do you want it that way?
Yeah, you think back to Xbox One and the original reveal of Crackdown 3. Remember cloud computing and how they can stream all this content in, and Warzone even does that to an extent where they stream some of that stuff while you play. So like it takes the load off your CPU. So yeah, I think you're right with like xCloud and Amazon saying, I don't even know what that's called. I think Facebook quietly just launched a game streaming service this week or last week. And of course our favorite Google's what's the name of it? I forgot.
Stadia.
That wasn't even me being like funny. No, yeah, like it's definitely going that way. I would be very curious with there's been a lot of more talk with 5G with the new iPhones and stuff coming out. Like I remember the Vita tried to do the 3G thing. I wonder if like somewhere down the line you would see a Switch have some of that stuff incorporated into it to help with this stuff.
I always wondered about that back in the Vita era, like if Nintendo would make a phone, and then it got to the point where I think the phone market kind of defined itself pretty well between iOS and Android, and a third just didn't, like Windows couldn't even hang with that. So but yeah, I don't know. I also think that like the way that the app approach too, where like eventually there will be xCloud on your phone, but like right now I can do remote play for both Xbox and PlayStation on my phone or my iPad. And honestly, I talked about doing that with 13 Sentinels and streaming. Like I played 13 Sentinels. I think at this point I've probably played more on the TV, but a lot of it initially was played on my iPad via console streaming. And the thing there is like it was always fine, and now they've just updated that app to prep it for PS5 launch. The streaming is even better for PS4 than it was a couple weeks ago. So I don't know. I can see things headed that way. I don't know that I don't like if I can't detect it, I'm fine, right? But it also is a scary thing because in the case of like Hitman 3 and Control, that's fine. You give them $60, you have that game, and you're able to play that game on a console like the Switch or potentially your phone. I think the scarier part is the idea that there are, like Matt said, all of these companies who are, hey, we're a streaming service now. And what happens when all these companies with all this money start saying, hey, EA, how much? Right? And then you're locking Madden behind Facebook, or you're locking those types of things, right? Like Microsoft and Bethesda was one thing. That's a big one. But like if we keep going down that road of things, where now it's like you have to have Apple TV Plus to watch the Peanuts. You have to have for a while South Park was on Hulu. Now it's only on HBO Max, and right. So it's like there's those things now. If that is the future of games, where you're suddenly like, well, yeah, I got to do a free trial. I got to borrow my mom's Facebook account so I can play the new GTA. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like that's where I don't want this to go, but I think something like Control and Hitman is potentially neat. Mark, I overtalked what I think you were maybe. I don't know if you were gearing up for something, but I think I jumped in.
I mean, you basically said some of the same things that I was thinking, but I mean, like Japan kind of already tested this cloud streaming with Resident Evil 7 and Phantasy Star for Switch. Phantasy Star Online 2. If done competently, I can see it being like at least an option for some games. I don't see it being the mainstay, especially if you're like, I mean, for consoles, I'm not sure, but I think for PC, that's going to be a hard thing to change. Like, I know there's a lot of like streaming services you can play games on, but like something like Steam, for example, just a way that you can download a game and mod it and whatever. A lot of that is based on your computer, like your side of things. So that's just, if to cut off that type of community is probably gonna be more detrimental to these companies in the long run.
I guess the positive thing in that is that there are more options, right? Like, if someone doesn't have a beefy rig, if someone is just a Switch player, they can still play these things, which I guess that's a positive.
Yeah, I mean, it seems more of a functionality that could work and not as much of a gimmick. Like VR isn't really going much right now. Like, it isn't really going anywhere. We don't really have a good grasp on what to do with that, so it just seems very gimmicky at the moment. I think it has potential, but streaming seems a far more viable option for things, for accessibility.
Also in the Nintendo Direct showcase, No More Heroes 3 shown off with a new trailer showing off a bit of the game. Now, this was announced a little while ago, but the game's launching in 2021. Of course, Travis Touchdown, part of the, International something of Assassins, Association of Assassins. And now in this game, they're all attacking aliens, is what I gather from that. To prepare for the launch, the first two games have been ported to Switch and are available now. Mark, you played a little bit of No More Heroes proper. now ported on Switch. How's that going this week? Tell us about No More Heroes, because the only one I ever played was that the one from last year, Travis Strikes Back.
Oh, Travis Strikes Again.
Travis Strikes Again. Yes.
Yeah. So that was my kind of gateway into the series as well. Was Travis Strikes Again, and funny enough, like after playing a bit of the first one, like I played up until I beat the first boss. So that's probably about. I also did the tutorial, so that's about 35 minutes, 40 minutes worth of game time. But it's enough to get a good feel of how everything plays, and it's interesting now to see, and like in hindsight or like retrospect, whatever. Like I can now kind of see where they implemented that same DNA into Travis Strikes Again. They're actually not too different from each other in terms of like gameplay. Like you have your two buttons dedicated to like a weak hit and a strong hit. Obviously, vanilla No More Heroes is a little more detailed with their combat. Like you can do charged attacks and stuff. You can do punch and kicks to stun your enemies, and then you can grab them and do a suplex or something. It feels nice to use controls. They do have the original Wii like motion control options. And I did a little bit of it. Like my Switch was handheld the whole time, but I took the Joy-Cons off and just tried it for a little bit. And it's sensitive. I have to get used to it. It's probably better if you had it docked and you're trying this out, but I'm just on my bed just trying to make it work when like the screen's like off to the side. But like it does work. I don't prefer it. But maybe later if I get used to it, maybe that'll be a different run. But yeah, the gameplay itself, it's nice and simple. You just kind of like Travis Strikes Again. You just run around, open up chests, get money, kill people, fight the boss, and the whole time in between, there's just that weird, Travis shenanigans and that Suda51 beautiful writing. Like I didn't realize until I turned up the volume a little more during the boss fight, Travis is just monologuing for the entire fight. I don't know exactly what he's saying, but it's so like anime. And he's just kind of like the trailers. Like when you watch the trailers for like No More Heroes 3, for example, Travis just like sounds like he's just babbling, and like the music is like competing with his voice, and it's hard to understand him or hear him. That is this game. Like those trailers are no different from what you play. So I don't know. Just I love it though. I love everything about it.
Does he still have that kind of Johnny Knoxville feel to him? Like that was always the vibe I got.
Yeah,
and that's what Suda based him on, right?
His looks mostly. Yeah. Personality, maybe. I'm sure there's a couple of people that he took for inspiration for. Like Travis Strikes Again, you have your little trailer and you can like customize your shirt and whatever. This, you have your little apartment and you can customize your shirt, your jacket, your sunglasses, your pants, and your.
What kind of shirts are in there this time? Because I know in Travis Strikes Again, it was a big focus on indie games, and I saw in the No More Heroes 3 trailer, it was not a Joy Division shirt, but it looked like Joy Division.
Yeah.
Stuff that's recognizable, or?
You still have to unlock a lot of them, but some of them look pretty original. Some, like one just looks like a typical like baseball tee that says No More Heroes with like a big number 11 going down on it. I think that Joy Division like shirt might be in there too. But he has like his classic. You start with like his default shirt where like it's some like idol anime that he likes. It's like Sailor Moon equivalent or something. He has a shirt of that because in his apartment he has like a whole shelf dedicated to figurines of these anime characters and stuff. So
I want in No More Heroes 3, I want an Uncle Death t-shirt in the style of a Misfits t-shirt.
Oh my god.
Just Uncle Death's face real big like a skull.
If they don't, you got to make it.
I'll put that together today. I think I'm going to grab those. Those are $20 a piece, but on sale right now, introductory price at $17.99. I believe that's correct. You're making a face, which tells me I might be wrong.
You would know more than I would. I just remember seeing the games. I just instantly bought them. Like, I didn't think about it. I thought once it's $17.99, and I thought the other said like $14.99 for some reason. I don't know why.
Maybe it was. I remember seeing one of them. I thought was
No More Heroes is $17.99. marked down from $19.99.
Dude, excellent price points to get into these games.
Even at $20, like, if I don't grab them soon and they go back up to the regular price, I'm going to end up grabbing them before 3 comes out because I want to play through them.
Yeah.
Because I liked Travis Strikes Again, but I also knew that was kind of a departure from the traditional gameplay of the series.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about this. I'm also excited about what potentially... Because now we've got these. Mario Galaxy, the community out there has figured out that Mario Galaxy was ported using a Wii emulator, right? So, like, what other Wii games are out there that we could start utilizing the Joy-Con again for? I really want a Wii Sports port. Really want that.
Did the Switch port of Resident Evil 4 have motion control?
I don't think it did, which is why I didn't buy it. Because I remember being like, oh, I'll play that, and then I don't think it had that, which sucked.
Damn.
There were a couple other announcements throughout the Nintendo showcase, but the big one at the end was Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. We had a final trailer, probably. But I'm sure they'll do more teasers and stuff leading up to the launch of the game. And then announced right there is that a demo for the game was made available same day. And Mark and I both played said demo. Funnily enough, I was texting Mark about kind of where I was at with it and that I probably still had a little bit more to go, but I was like, I put a lot into this demo. Mark said he wrapped it up and took about, what'd you say, 2 hours?
Yeah.
And then I jumped back in to do it again. I was like, all right, let me finish this before the podcast. And I started to click on the icons on the map to start these things. I was like, hey, you got to go do the full version. I was like, oh, okay, I guess I already finished the demo. But they didn't give me like a big, like, you're done.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I was expecting that.
Yeah, so we both played through it. This is way different than I expected. And also exactly the same than I expected. But it's much more than a Muso game. Like, much more than, like, Hyrule Warriors to me, the original on Wii U had that kind of, yes, you're hacking and slashing. Yes, there's some light Zelda story stuff at play, but in the end, it felt very much like, I don't know, this feels like something different. I don't know how to quite put it into words, but like, it's still the Muso gameplay, but there's like a lot more to the story is like front and center, right up front, like with cutscenes that feel like they're ripped right out of Breath of the Wild. The UI, the interface, like everything feels like Breath of the Wild adjacent. It's like not quite there because it can't be, but like they have the map that's fully Breath of the, like that is the map. They've got the Sheikah Slate, they've got they've integrated all this Breath of the Wild technology and characters and lore all right into the thing, and that I thought was impressive. How do you feel about the kind of story setup and things like that in this, Mark?
So I guess I can view this from two sides. I can view this from a Zelda point of view. I can view it from a Koei Tecmo point of view. And I grew up with both franchises, and I adore them. So I played a lot of Dynasty Warriors from PS2 up to now, and usually it's like a story is like kind of there, but it's kind of more like a fighting game, like depending on whatever like faction you're with and those characters involved, they're just like lightly sprinkled and they talk a lot during the gameplay, but it's nothing huge. It's just always, take over land, fight boss, rinse, lather, repeat.
Right, go to the next place.
And like, yeah, like this has that, but it definitely took the narrative and made that the center focus, and that is so refreshing to see in a Muso game where you can actually pay attention to the story and not get like overwhelmed with what's going on, trying to learn characters' names and trying to figure out like why are we at war and what are we fighting. Like this, because of Zelda, it's able to simplify all that, cut the fat off, and just get right into it. And even the way it introduces new characters to play as, they just make it so interesting. And but yeah, I appreciate that they took more care into that, and it's such a perfect way, because usually you have to see like most of ancient China and you pick the regions to go attack. In this, you have the map set up for you already, almost pretty similar. You just pick spots on the actual map and you go to it, and that's such a smart way to load these little sections instead of trying to like load the actual like Breath of the Wild map and everything is seamless. Like seamless would be cool, but at the same time, I totally get why it is the way it is.
Yeah. I like the combat as well. Like, I felt like the first one, I remember going into Hyrule Warriors as my first Musou game, and everyone saying, you just mash Y the whole time. And I was like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
And you do and you don't. But this one, I feel like even more than the last one, there's a strong emphasis on learning and understanding combos and how to differentiate between different things you're doing. Like, just Link by himself, and he's like one of 3 playable characters from the demo. You get to also play as Impa and Zelda. Not Impa. Impa?
Yeah.
Impa, yeah. And like, just Link by himself, he's got these like intricate combos of just sword play, but also shield surfing you can integrate into it. You can do stuff where if you pull it off in the right bit, you can like wall jump off of a character you're fighting and then do the paraglider to slide over somebody else and then downward step. Like, all sorts of wild stuff like that. He's got the Sheikah Slate stuff. By the end of the first couple levels, you end up with the 4 Magnesis, Cryonis, Stasis, and Bombonis.
Dude, I've never tried learning these names. All I know is Stasis, I don't know what the bombs so are. I'm just going to agree with whatever you're saying.
I remember Stasis, Magnesis, and Cryonis. I don't remember what the bombs are. But whatever the bombs are, it might just be called bombs.
It might be.
But those you get to deploy kind of at will and then integrate combos into that too. Like, I thought that was all really well done. And then switching to Impa, like, totally different set of combos. Like, the button inputs are relatively the same, but you're doing things, you have to be differently paced, and then with Zelda it's completely different again. So I think that, combined with the number of characters that are likely going to be playable in this, I think that puts it up for, like, I know that this fall, like, I was really anticipating Breath of the Wild 2, right? Like, that was in my head in January, that was the game I was going to be playing this Christmas, this holiday with. I mean, I also assumed I would have new consoles and there'd be lots of things to play on. Like, but I figured Breath of the Wild 2 was a shoo-in. So this is maybe not the one that we need, but the one we deserve, but the one we need right now, kind of thing. Yeah. But I feel like there's going to be a lot of stuff to do with this. Like, I think generally maybe the reaction to this game is that it's just kind of like, oh yeah, it's another one of those, who cares? But I really feel confident that, like, this is going to be a pretty sizable, meaty game. Some of the stuff they're doing with the time travel feels like they could easily write this off as just a side story, not actually tying into the thing. But we've got that weird little drum boy who shows up, that little guardian guy. Other than that, my only complaint is that it's nothing against the voice actors. I just don't like Zelda's voice in this game.
I got used to it by now.
When I heard it, I was like, oh, okay, yeah. It just sounds like she's always, like, upset.
I mean, at least it's an emotion.
This is why Link won't have a voice, because of people like you complaining about what you get voices on.
Yeah, you're right. I'm part of the problem.
I mean, they can always bring back the 80s cartoon Link.
Yeah. I say bring it back. But no, I normally don't really care, but I don't know. Hearing it again, I was like, oh, right. It just sounds like she's always worried about something, and like...
She is.
She shouldn't have to be. She's strong. She can fight. She can do what she's got to do. Any other things about Hyrule Warriors? I think it's an impressive thing, and I think more than the last one, I've been excited about this since they announced it, but I don't know. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I like going from the first Hyrule Warriors, and like, yeah, like you can see like it's just a Musou with a Zelda skin, but it was done with like such originality added to it, and you can start to see where like characters had their own unique ways of doing combos to where you wouldn't necessarily do the same button inputs with every character, because maybe for Link, hitting quick to strong, or weak to strong attack is one combo that's like maybe simple, but maybe to another character just doing that once is like this different crazy like range attack thing versus whatever. And for me, I kind of view it like a fighting game where it's like, it's so simple for me where I can string these moves together just based off of that repetition. And I don't know why that works for me, but it does. But then like Age of Calamity like took it a step further. Like it feels like they got Sakurai to like study these characters and like really make them unique to these characters. Like Zelda was, like Impa was cool because it's just very like Naruto, just very like anime ninja seals and cloning yourself, and it's so cool.
I love that. Yeah, I love the like weird like apparitions she creates that she can then fight with and then absorb for more power and stuff.
It feels so OP, but I love it. And then Zelda is, it's probably my favorite so far. Like she's how unique her attacks are. Like it took me a bit to understand it.
Yeah, me too.
And then it's like because each like normal attack is a different stasis ability, but you can choose to like push one further if you do the strong attack. And it's so cool.
That threw me off at first, but as you get it going, you're right. She's got a lot behind her. I'm really curious to see how the Guardians Gosh, what are they called?
Champions.
Yeah, how they play. And then we do get to take control. We saw in that one trailer for this that you do get to go at some point in the game and take control of the Guardians. What are the big massive?
Yeah, I think. Oh no, they're not called the Guardians. They're called because Guardians are like the spider crawly things.
Right. Sorry.
Sentinels? I don't know if it's called that. The Megazords.
The temples you go inside of in this game.
Yeah.
I don't know. I skipped them.
Yeah. So it's whatever the things Matt didn't fight the fake Ganons inside of, those things.
Yeah.
So that's out November 20th, but the demo's out now, and your save progress carries over. And it seems like you can keep jumping in and replaying levels, so you can just keep having fun practicing combos and things like that. Get really good with those 3 characters if you want. So more on that as it launches next month, or this month, I guess right now, as you're hearing it, it's November. But Matt, where are we at with Crash Bandicoot 4? It's about time.
I've completed the main thing, the main quest.
It's a crash dab?
Yeah, dude, I can't talk about how hard this game is. Like, I forgot how hard Crash Bandicoot games can get. Man, there was one level, it's one of the last levels, and there was a section of it where you have to, like, jump, and I've explained before, like, how you, like, pick up, like, the different mats with their abilities, and it gets kind of mapped to R2. Well, there's this whole jumping section that you keep getting them. Like, they pop up in different ones, and some of them, like, you get for literally like, a second to do the move, and you have to, like, time it perfectly to get to the next one. I died, like, 40 times in this one area, and I got so mad I quit the level, and quickly realized, like, oh shit, I'm going to have to replay the other hard parts of this level to get back to where I was. But finally, I got through it. But man, it, like... Yes, I die like 50 times in the Crash Bandicoot level, just like the normal ones towards the end of the game. So it is no joke. I will tell you right now, there is no way I'm even putting my patience to the test of getting a platinum and trying to get all the other stuff.
How is it with like resetting you after that stuff? Like, is it like, because Celeste was difficult, but Celeste, because it was that precision platforming and it was hard, it at least always put you back very quickly, very snappily, so you could just like jump right back in and pick up. You know what I mean?
It's not as snappy as that. There's a quick little thing, but yeah, I mean, you're back at the checkpoint box that you hit. It's not like I don't know how the new. Remember, I talked about this the first time, but there was like the classic mode and like the newer like standardized mode. I don't know if they had the checkbox, the check mark boxes in that. I'm sure they do because it will factor into the box count, but yeah, I don't know if they do that a little bit differently for that. But no, this was very much like the dying animation if you were hit or whatever, and then you were back after a couple seconds. But no, it's not as snappy as Celeste. It gives you that time to stew and just get mad, especially when you see the same death animation 13 times in a row.
The bad one for me was always Super Mario Brothers U, where when you died, it ejected you back to the map and you had to go back into the level. That always pissed me off because it was enough to like just break your momentum. You know what I mean? I didn't want to keep going. Outside of that, though, I mean, what are you thinking overall?
I think it's a solid game. Like I said before, it's Crash Bandicoot. It doesn't go away from the formula that much. It adds a couple of new mechanics. I have not gone back to do the inverted levels. I don't know. We'll see. I want to go back. I think there's other stuff I want to play now at this point. So I might not ever touch them, at least not anytime soon. But I did play I didn't get to talk about playing as him last time because I was just a couple levels short. But playing as Neo Cortex, that's an interesting one. He's probably the most different of all the characters you can play as. He has this little like short distance laser that you fire at enemies, but you don't kill them. You turn them into platforms. And if you shoot them again when they're a platform, they turn into like bouncy platforms. So a lot of his level design is around like these jumping, side-scrolling, platforming areas, and like they got tough. They were tough just to complete, but then to like manipulate all the enemies. Because like what would happen, you would turn them into platforms, but if you could cycle them back out into the regular enemy thing. So the ones that will go like back and forth on the level, like up or down, left or right, it will continue to go in that pattern. So in order to get, like, if you were going to 100% some of these levels, the way to get some of those boxes in those areas, like you have to manipulate the enemies so much and turn them to platforms and making sure you get the right platform at the right time. Like it is. His stuff was no joke. And then he had this little like dash mechanic as well. So you would do a jump and then dash. So he didn't have a double jump. I know Dingo Dial had that little like umph at the end of his holding jump with the vacuum. Cortex does not have that. So it was very platform and section heavy with Neo Cortex. That like I said, it was weird to do as him because he has different jump mechanics as Crash, who you're playing with the entire time. But yeah, he was definitely. I think it was definitely the most different play style for me of all the new characters. He's
required to complete the game. Like that's not like bonus fun stuff.
There is at least one, I think, 2 levels that are his. But like I said, for the most part, those extra character levels are like branched off of the main path of the world map. So yeah, no, but it's a solid game if you like Crash Bandicoot. I can't recommend it enough. There's, like I said, I took me probably around like 8 hours, I would say, somewhere around that. But there's so much replayability. Whether you want to go back, play all the boxes, you get of course the time trial stuff comes into effect now to get all the relics. Go through and get all the gems. You got the whole inverted thing to go back through all the levels like that, including the side character missions, I believe. So there is all the lost tapes with those challenging little levels. So like there is a lot there for this package. You can kind of take it as far as you want to with the Crash Bandicoot experience.
Do you think they do another Crash first, or get Spyro back up and running?
I don't know. I know. I mean, just from my little echo chamber, I feel like the Crash one did a lot better. I feel it was better. I think they both did fine, but like I just feel like everyone was like Crash, and it came and it was like great. Everyone's like was buzzing about it when it came out and about how good it was. And I think that momentum led to a sequel. I just don't think Spyro ever got that same momentum. If I'm like, yeah, that's fair to say. I don't know, but that's just me. It could have been somewhere else that it got that momentum, and I'm just speaking to my ass here, but yeah.
No, I kind of agree with that. Yeah. Well, I'm curious to see what happens with more Crash. I wonder if they'll do DLC for that. Like Activision's in a weird spot right now where I'm waiting to see what happens with Crash and with Tony Hawk right now, because I think they both probably did well. We know Tony Hawk did well. I don't know if we know anything about Crash yet, but like I wonder how they follow this.
They not the spoiler and there's spoilers for the Crash Bandicoot lore here, but they do the thing where like if you beat the game you get one ending, if you 100% the game you get another ending, and then there's the 106% clear
castle,
I guess, and that gets you like the true ending or perfect ending or whatever, and I think that one leaves the door open for a potential sequel.
Yeah,
I didn't watch them all. I just I just got the normal one, but yeah, I that's what I've heard.
We've got a question of the week, but first I need to make Marc look like he just ate bad olives. I started playing Pokemon Sword again.
Nah.
All right, it's not the face I was worried about. I didn't want to play it. I didn't want to play it because I didn't want to have to say that I played it and talk about it and get the face of judging that I know.
Oh,
I was waiting.
I'm not even emotional about Pokemon anymore. I'm just over it.
All right, well let me bring you back into the fold then.
Okay.
So playing that game last year, it just didn't click for some reason. And I think now being a couple hours back into it, I probably put like 5 hours into it. I realized how much all of the toxicity surrounding the launch of those games kind of crept into my experience of it, which is so unfair to the game and to whatever. I personally was never super stoked about that game because of the setting. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know, just obviously, like, Pokemon always does its themes. Like, before that, we had the Alola stuff, so it's very Hawaiian themed. Now this is more like England-centric kind of area, which just aesthetically not my bag. I was hoping for more of like I didn't play Black and White, but I liked, like, yeah, man, let's make a Pokemon out of a bag of garbage and set this in New York City. Like, that seemed cool. I was also hoping for like another, like, let's go back to some of the more Japan-centric town ideas. So it had a couple things stacked against it just for me personally, and then it was like, I felt like every time I would maybe sort of get into it, I'd open Twitter or I'd open Reddit, and it was just like, here's 1,000 reasons why you're wrong. And I'm like, all right, thanks, I'm wrong. I guess I suck. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, it did also, I hit a point last year where I was like, this is a game for kids. Why am I still playing this? Like, I just wasn't having fun. It wasn't challenging me. It wasn't whatever. And then I got an email this week from the Pokemon company that said, hey, here's a bunch of Christmas stuff. You want to buy it? And I was like, no, but I like Pokemon. I haven't thought about Pokemon in a while. I wonder what's going on. All that DLC came out. Like, I wonder, what's the state of this game? And then I got an email yesterday what said, Ash's Pikachu's in the game. Go to the game and put in all these codes and you get an Ash's Pikachu. And I was like, man, that's cool. I remember getting an Ash's Pikachu in some of the old games. Maybe what's that Pokemon Home thing look like? So I'm going to fill you in here. Pokemon Home launched earlier this year. It's $15.99 per year subscription. You can do a 3-month or a 1-month subscription if you prefer. I think there's a free tier also that you can just kind of like have it or whatever, but if you're going to do it, just give them the $16, man. Like, just, you're already doing stupid. Just go full stupid. So I jump in last night and I'm like, all right, I knew that I had Pokemon Bank on 3DS, and I knew that at some point I had moved all of my Pokemon out of Pokemon X, Pokemon Alpha Sapphire, and either put them all in the bank or moved them all into Ultra Moon. Couldn't remember which. So yesterday after work, I'm like, if I'm going to get into this, I want to do it because maybe Sword doesn't end up working out for me, but I assume next year they're going to do the Diamond and Pearl remakes, or eventually they're going to do a game that I do want to play again. It would be nice to have all my old Pokemon with me. So maybe I should figure this out before it's too late, before those Pokemon disappear from Pokemon Bank. Fire up Pokemon Bank. Surprisingly, my subscription had lapsed, but all the Pokemon are still there because they're supposed to wipe them out. Like, that was the threat, is that if you don't keep an active subscription, they'd clear them after so many days. Everything's still there, but most of them were in Ultra Moon. So I take the ones that are in the bank and I move them into Home after paying the $16 for Pokemon Home. And then I look and most of them are in Ultra Moon. The only way to get them from Ultra Moon into Pokemon Home and then subsequently into Pokemon Sword is I need to have an active Pokemon Bank subscription, upload everything to the bank, and then transfer. So I spent another $5 to get another year's worth of Pokemon Bank just to upload all the things. And I did that, so now everything is in Pokemon Bank, and it is rad. I have to say, like, if you are tangentially even Pokemon excited, opening up the phone app and just looking at every Pokemon you've ever caught. Like, remember years ago, like back in 2016, I did all that work for the national dex or whatever to try and get or a living Pokedex rather, to get one of every species. And I didn't quite get it, but I still have, like, I have 1 through 251 done. And then a lot of the other ones. So I think I had like 700 Pokemon I transferred into this thing last night. And just being able to open my phone and see them all in a line, see where they came from. It shows you like little stats about like this one came from this game, this one came from that. Really cool stuff. And then the hook was, because I really was not taking to a lot of the new Pokemon in Sword. Like, they were fine. Some of them were good, some of them, like, I still want to get that apple and turn it into an apple pie or whatever you can do. Like, that's wild, but I didn't love like a lot of the other ones. So being able to take Pokemon from my bank and dump them right into Sword very easily on the Switch, and then fire up Sword and just mix my party up, because I had already gotten 3 gym badges. So at that point, I forget the level, maybe up to level 50. So I was able to pull in some Pokemon that I already had that were pretty decent and pick up where I left off without too much trouble or difficulty. And now, since starting back, I've finished 2 more gyms. And the cool thing to me with the gyms, I forgot how neat they are, where one, the gym battle at the end with the final, the gym leader is a big, like, event, right? Like, you walk into a stadium, it feels like you're in this crazy match or whatever. And I remember initially, like, when Dynamaxing was first shown off, I was like, this is kind of stupid, I don't really care. But last night, doing my, like, first gym leader battle in a year, going in, and the gym leader I fought is like, yo, check this out. Blows up and I was like, well, check this out. And we have these giant towering. It was a really cool experience. I don't know why it was so cool. Maybe just because it was like I think that's the thing too. Last year I played a lot handheld. This year, playing it on TV, it's a totally different experience. And I also have Pokemon I like and I care about, which I think makes a difference too. So that was a lot of fun. But even leading up to the gym leader fight, the really neat thing is each gym has a gimmick to it. But they're not. I forgot about some of the other ones, and if you go back a year ago and listen, I'm sure I talked about it. But the ones I did last night in Sword were the fighting gym and I think it's fairy gym. The fighting one, you go through this like amusement park ride. So like the teacups that you spin or whatever? It's one of those, and you get in it, and it's kind of like a pachinko machine. Like you're falling downward, and you need to rotate your left stick or your right stick, right or left, to turn the thing and make sure you're going down the lane in the right thing. So it's like a fun little mini game mixed in with the gym, where it's not just like, hey, go talk to this statue. Like those were always neat, but this just takes it a step further. And then you're doing the gym battles along the way with other trainers in there, and you get to the final fight and do that. But like, it's cool. And I forgot about the thrill of having one Pokemon left in your party, realizing you're probably at a disadvantage when the Dynamax kills your Dynamax Pokemon, and now you have a small one against the big one, and I don't think this is going to work. And you literally have the tiniest red sliver of health, and you knock and you win the gym fight. Like, that was the coolest. I did one of those last night. The fairy gym was really cool because as you go through, the gym leader there, like, wants to make sure that you are worthy of being a Pokemon trainer, but also like has an affinity for the stage. So the whole gym thing, you walk in and they make you walk onto a stage, and then on the opposite side, entering stage right, is your opponent. As you're fighting them, they'll stop in the middle of a fight and ask you a question. And if you get it right, your Pokemon stats raise. If you get it wrong, they decrease. So there's like little things like that built in to make each gym fight dynamic. I think the fashion is really good in this. The trainer cards, like, there's actually a lot that's really good. And I think it looks really good on the TV, which is something I discounted last year, or didn't really appreciate as much as I think I am this year. Like, it looks really good. The Pokemon models look great on screen. Some of the stuff they do for animations and things, like, really cool. Like, having Hitmontop just look like he's always drunk all the time. It's just it's really, really neat. So I don't know, man. I'm back into Pokemon, I guess, for a little bit. We'll see how long this lasts. It might be a week. It might be nothing. But, I want to at least see through the core game maybe. And then if I jump into the DLC, we'll see. My question of the week that I thought of while getting into this is, what dumb thing will pull you back in? Because I don't even have that strong of an affinity for Ash nor his Pikachu. But seeing it, I was just like, oh, special gift? Okay. All right. And that was enough to like get me to go drop $20 on making sure Pokemon Bank and Home were all up to date and all my stuff was moved over and all that fun stuff. Is there a thing in a game that you're like, I'm out? And then they're like, well, hey, hold on a second.
This year, but the battle pass for Dota.
Oh yeah.
It's every year. Dota battle pass. Going to do the little cavern crawl thing.
Yep.
Gives me excited. Yeah, and I spend.
Doesn't matter what. But
and then what turns into the level 1 battle pass? I'm buying $10 worth of levels every week, and that's. And then before you know, $1,000 of my dollars goes to the winner of TI. So
there you
great.
Go. I think you've been doing okay so far, but usually they put the right cover athlete on one of their sports games.
Yeah.
You can talk all the trash you want all year long, but they throw a Ravens or whatever on the cover and it's yours.
Yeah, I did buy Madden this year. Didn't buy NHL though.
Give it time. It's just gonna take one drunk night.
No, man, I'm telling you, EA Play with the power of Game Pass and EA Play. That has altered my attitude about it. Also, I've seen some footage of that Be a Pro, and it seems pretty ridiculous. In a good way sometimes, but also in a very cheesy way too.
Yeah. Mark, you have a dumb one that just...
Let's see. I think I've been better about it this time around, but typically it's usually like something cosmetic would usually reel me back in, or not so much like a main big feature to like an update. It's like little things you can do. Usually what like reels me in, like let's bring up Sea of Thieves. And I don't hate that game by any stretch of the imagination, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, you just don't play it a lot. But every time they announce updates, and it's like, oh, you can go to these islands and like something's crazy going on, you fight these enemies. I'm like, all right, that's cool. We also got these new emotes. Keep going. I'm leaning forward. It's like, you can wear this dumb costume. You can, like, your cat can match your costume. It's like, all right, yeah. Like, for some reason, that...
I didn't even know you could have cats, but sure.
Like, this is the same guy where if Mitoma was still around, there's my answer. Every time, like, they have, like, new stupid costumes, I want to spend $30 to try to get a lucky chance to get them. Or, like, to decorate my room or something. But this time around, I think I've had a better grip on it. Like, if I cared about Overwatch, I would have jumped back in during their Halloween stuff. Because I like their skins. I think they do a good job with that. But I'm not into it, so I'm not going to do it. And if I cared about Animal Crossing more than I used to, I think I would have jumped back in. But I don't know. A lot of it just seems like, I don't know, it's just, there's also just not a lot there. So I guess I just don't see it this time around as that appealing. Or maybe...
No, yeah, I think you and I were having a text message conversation about that in the beginning of the week. Like, make it spooky and sign me up. Like, I will jump back in. But I've also, like you, not... Like, yeah, Overwatch is Halloween is the only time I'm like, I'm going to play Overwatch. And then I'm like, it's a whole... I don't feel like I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the Halloween stuff is definitely a big draw. That's going to bring us to... our ongoing weekly segment. Enter the final of the semifinals here in Who Would Win in a Fight. For listeners just catching this for the first time, for the last 14 weeks, we've asked Matt the question, who would win in a fight between video games' greatest villains? And we've worked our way through our bracket until we're here, the final round of the semifinals, against Gigas from the Mother series, and Ganon from The Legend of Zelda. So, Matt, I ask you, who would win in a fight?
This is, like, impossible. Because they're, like... We talked about this a lot with Gigas last time, in the last round. And we kind of briefly talked about it with Ganon, too. Like, they're just, like, bigger than themselves, right? Like... What is it, like, Gigas is like fear itself or something like that, and Ganon can take the form of a terrifying spider at the end of a certain Zelda game, or he can have one of the best back punches in Super Smash Brothers. Like, I don't know.
Exactly. He's just evil incarnate, you know? So
this is a terrifyingly hard question to answer, and we might have to do the coin flip, because unless, Mark, you have any input on this, now that I got another sidekick here, as well as Joe, but they're both...
So, I don't have much to say for Gigas, or Gigas, whatever, except, like, all I know about him, or it, is that, like, it started out as, like, a Mewtwo-looking alien in the first Mother game, and then In Mother 2, it was just more of just like this weird entity thing. And I don't know much beyond that. Like, I don't know if that's even a recurring boss in Mother 3 or whatever. Ganon, on the other hand, I think when I think about Ganon, I think more so about the Triforce of Power and what its effect is. So Ganon just can't die, even when you kill him. Like, the Master Sword doesn't even kill Ganon, it just stops him. But, like, he will always find it, like, even if, before Ganon, it was Demise. If you could think back to Skyward Sword, where it all started. But it was still the Triforce of Power playing a part, and that's just what keeps him going. And so it's always been the same Ganon. It's always been him in all these Zelda games. It hasn't been iterations or different generations of him. There's no descendants of Ganondorf or just that hate itself. It always has a new vessel. I guess that's how you keep a franchise going. But yeah, I always think about that. It's always different Links and different Zeldas, but it's always the same Ganon. That to me really says something. Like, that is, you can't kill it.
Because it's never made its way to North America, I've never played Mother 3.
He's not in it anyway.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe based off of what Mark just said, you can't beat Ganon, and good old Ness defeated Gigas. However,
technically Paula defeated, but I think the big thing to remember with Gigas is that, like, to me, and maybe this is like the personal side of the Earthbound journey, but to me, Gigas was always like that moment when you're like walking in the dark and you feel a sudden chill. Like, that's Gigas, right? Like, he's just like, when you feel fear, you feel Gigas. Like, he's like the Parallax, right? Like the embodiment of the central yellow battery for the yellow lanterns. Sorry for the comic book stuff.
I get it.
Like, for me, that's Gigas. Like, he's just the embodiment of fear. And when you feel fear, when you allow fear to enter your heart or your mind, you're letting Gigas continue to live. And that was why they were able to get rid of it, is because they believed they could overcome fear. They had great willpower.
And you pressed prey 7 times.
Yeah, right. So,
well,
fantastic.
To draw a similarity, that's another thing with the Triforce, is that, like, it's always about balance in the end. Like, it's always this ongoing cycle. So you have power, wisdom, and courage. Power usually takes over, but it takes both wisdom and courage to overcome that power. So it's kind of similar. Yeah, it might be a coin flip. It's
can Ganon pray 7 times? Is that, like, I think that's what it comes down to.
He can prey on his victims.
Pray. Pray.
It's true.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to be this guy, but last week we started getting into elements of, like, boss battle music. So if we look at that, the sounds that play while Gigas is playing are just like terrifying
haunting
John Cage compositions, where Ganon has a pretty maybe not catchy, but at least
he has a couple themes.
Yeah.
But, like, I think of more so his village theme, not so much his theme. Gerudo Valley, man. Yeah. Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, dude. I play that on the guitar. Every time I pick up a guitar, I have to play that.
Usually I've been putting the bad guys here into Coliseums and letting them duking it out, but, like, I don't even know how you put these two in the Coliseum.
I think Ganon would just be fighting himself, right? Like, it just be him being, like, scared and upset. So that's...
Unless you just put on the Jumbotron of the Coliseum the image of the fetus.
I think even when Ganon is defeated, he is never afraid.
Yeah, that's fair.
He always faces it head on, even when a sword is in between his eyes. He never is crying. He's never. Yeah, it'll hurt.
Because he knows he'll come back.
Yeah, he just gets petrified, and that just keeps him going. Like, he got punished in Twilight Princess. He got stabbed with a sword from the sages. He took it out and then killed all the other sages, basically, with that sword. Yeah. Like,
Ganon might, Matt, you're the final...
Ganon is the Michael Myers of Zelda, is what I'm getting at. And Gygus is to Freddy Krueger.
But what timeline, Oh my god, Zelda does have like 14,000 timelines just like Halloween too, so this makes a lot of sense actually. It's a great comparison. Yeah, I think what you said, Mark, about there's no fear with Ganon, because he knows he can always come back. Gygus feast on fear. Although Ganon probably can't hit the pray button 7 times while your health is dialing down. I don't know. I think there's not too much power there because of the lack of fear. So I think Ganon would win.
Man,
got the help there, because I was about going into this week. I knew the matchup, and honestly, I was even thinking about it. No, who the hell would win?
Well,
yeah,
that leads us to our final round next week. Stay tuned to find out who would win in a fight between Ganon and Sephiroth next week. We're going to move into a break, and when we get back, we've got a big delay to talk about, among other things. Be right back. Welcome back to the Free Cheese episode 374. It is time for a brand new ongoing segment. With the imminent ending of Who Would Win in a Fight just 1 week away, I knew we needed something else, something more elaborate, something more, complicated maybe too complicated. And Mark, Matt, I introduce you and our listeners to our new ongoing segment, asterisk, maybe to be canceled later. Another Night, Another Dream. In this ongoing segment, we are going to put Mark in the role of the dungeon crawler. Mark, I have created a dungeon for you to work your way through. This week, and maybe every week, you'll be given 3 keys.
Okay.
I will describe to you while you're standing in the room which doors are in every direction. You'll be able to move through 3 of those locked doors per week because you have 3 keys.
Okay.
But in each room, something awaits you. Perhaps it's something from the Free Cheese history. Perhaps it's something from your own history. Perhaps something else entirely. So I have a little chart here with some mark values. I've got your hit points. I've got your attack.
Oh my god.
If you die during this, you're just going to go back to the first room in the dungeon.
Okay.
But if you continue, you'll pick up next week where you left off this week. Questions about this, Mark or Matt?
Do you have a map?
Do I have to do anything yet?
Matt, you do not, but don't worry, you will be involved. I don't want to leave you out, but
I don't need to be involved. I'm just saying. I got no questions because I got an easy job so far.
So far, give it time. What was your question, Mark?
Is this like? Do you have like a grid map set up?
Oh yeah. I designed a map. The rooms are connected.
Oh man.
I've got. Here's the thing. Like, I want to show this map, but also I can't let you know what's inside.
Fair.
I kind of want to show Matt, but I feel like even showing Matt would ruin some of the surprises. So I don't know, but I am.
I'll just leave the episode and come back. Just.
I guess with that, we're gonna actually hold on. I need to write down how many keys you have. If I don't do that, I will forget. Because you may or may not find more keys along the journey today. Okay. Are you ready, Mark, to step forth into the dungeon?
I think so.
All right. So, Mark, you're starting out with 3 keys.
Okay.
There's one door straight ahead, and it is already unlocked. Do you wish to go through?
I'm just going to chill in this room.
Just gonna hang out. All right, well, that's the end of the game. Then we'll come back next week and see how many keys Marc has.
No,
he just played this like I played PC.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay, obviously, yeah. Go through.
All right, we're gonna move forward. Marc, welcome to your first room. Inside there is.
Thanks. Good to be
here. There
here.
are 2 boxes. I have a quick question for you. Which would you rather have in a fight, a knife or a bat?
A bat.
Okay, well, I hope you choose correctly. Marc, there's 2 boxes, a purple and an orange box. Which do you choose?
This is already, setting me off, because I'm bad at making decisions, and I don't know how much thought was put into this, where it's like, did you know I was going to pick orange? So you subverted me to, pick purple? Or...
Go with your gut.
Go with your gut.
Good job. You picked the bat.
Yeah.
Which means you get +1 to your attack, because that's the weapon you would have chosen.
Magnus.
Oh, wait, you dropped out. I didn't hear
you.
I
was just whispering Magnus.
Oh, okay. Okay, Marc, so you have not used a key. So you have a door straight ahead of you and a door to your right. Which one would you like to go to?
Straight ahead.
Straight ahead. So you use a key, and now you've entered the room of Lon D.
What?
And Lon D has a question for you, Marc.
I think he knows who Lon D is.
I don't...
Okay.
So, this is... Looks like Lon D's here for a fight. The way fights are going to work in this dungeon so far, Lon D has a question for you. If you get the question right, you successfully hit Lon D. If you get it wrong, he hits you. So your question from Lon D: why does Ryo Hazuki hate me?
I'm sorry, repeat that.
Why does Ryo Hazuki hate me? This is Lon D.
Okay, so it's a Shenmue character.
Why does Ryo Hazuki hate me?
Does he think that Lon D has something to do with his father's death?
Oh, Marc, you hit it on the head. Lon D killed Ryo Hazuki's father, and that's why Ryo hates him. Lon D runs away from you, upset and afraid that you got the question right. Looks like you get +1 key upon victory. Good job. Now standing in the center of the room, you have a door to your left and a door to your right.
Left.
All right, we're moving left. There is a single die in the middle of the room. Matt, should Marc pick a number between 1 and 6 or roll the dice?
Roll the dice.
That's it. All right, Matt or Marc, we're gonna roll the dice here. Give me a second to roll the dice. 2. The result is added to your offense, or I'm sorry, your HP. So your
right.
max HP is up to 7 now.
Taking it up
because we rolled a 2. All right.
It's on brand so far.
There is one door in this room, and it is straight ahead. You can go that way, or you can return back the way you came.
Ooh, return back.
Return back.
Yeah.
Okay. We are back in the empty room with Lon D's costume on the floor as he ran away. You can return back to the original room of boxes, or you can press straight ahead in another direction using a key.
Oh, I thought this was taking me back to the left and right door room.
It is, yeah. Sorry, I'm looking at it as you first person perspective have walked back in, but yeah, you're back in the left and right room, so you can go.
Yeah, I want to go to the other door.
You want to go right? Okay. So it's going to use a key.
Wait, so Lon D ran off naked?
Ran off naked, man. Left his cloak behind.
Oh, cloak. I said clothes. Clothes, whatever.
All of the above.
He definitely said clothes.
Sure. Okay. In episode 373, we talked about Konami renewing trademarks for certain properties. One of these was for Ganbare Goemon. Which year was the last Goemon game released?
Ooh. Instinct says 2013.
Ooh, the answer we're looking for is 2005. Had you got it right, Goemon promised to come back soon, but because you got it wrong, Goemon might not be back for another 15 years, Mark.
Oh, shit. What was I thinking, like, patchy slots were, like, sooner?
I don't know.
I guess they don't count as games in a traditional sense.
But... You have one key remaining.
Okay.
Standing in this, you have a door at the bottom and a door to the right. Which way would you like to go?
Bottom.
Bottom. All right. Let's get us down to 0 keys. This is going to be our last room of the day. You walk in here and it says, question, if you grew up in the United Kingdom, your favorite cartoon would have been called what?
What?
Your favorite cartoon would have been called what?
Oh. Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles.
Correct! But here in America, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles give you a high five and a slice of pizza. You love pizza! +1 to HP. Mark, we're ending our first round of Another Night, Another Dream with 8 hit points, health points, 2 attack value, and 0 keys. I need to figure out a way to mark off the doors that you've been in and all of that stuff. And then we will pick this back up next week. But first, Cyberpunk 2077 has been delayed by another few weeks. CD Projekt Red has announced another delay to the game, now set to release on December 10th. The game is ready for PC and plays well on next-gen consoles. This comes via a press release with the Polish stock market. The company's finalizing the process for current generation consoles. According to 3 developers speaking with Game Informer, the decision to delay was not discussed internally until Monday, October 26th, with the decision being reached and announced on Tuesday, October 27th. We, the public, found out at the same time most of the rest of the studio staff. In fact, 90% of the staff was not informed until the public was informed. Due to Polish labor laws, leadership was not legally allowed to tell the entire team without them signing non-disclosure agreements. However, had they signed those NDAs, it would have qualified as leaked insider information with regards to insider training in Poland. So they could not tell them. They just had to make the decision and then announce it. And then reports were stating that internally there was a combination of joy that they had more time to work on the game and also kind of upset that the game was delayed again because they are really excited for people to get to play their game. So, Mark, you called it last week because didn't you ask, has a game ever gone gold and then not made it to gold? And then I could not remember the name of NBA Elite, but that was there. How we feeling on Cyberpunk these days? I know that, like, I've been like, but Matt, I know this was like your
So this actually works out for me. I'm going to explain why. The weekend it was supposed to come out this time around, in November. I had to go to PA for a wedding. I wouldn't be able to play it. That would have been a big problem. I would have been miserable the entire time of the wedding, knowing that Cyberpunk was waiting for me on my computer. But now, Guess what? Boom, I can play it. Bad thing for us, internally, I probably won't get to it in time for Game of the Year. But that is fine.
We'll see. We still don't know when we're recording any of that stuff. It might be later than normal. But yeah, I agree. What else is happening? And I mean, there are other things in November that you can fill in that space with. Oh,
yeah. I got Miles Morales, got Demon Souls, Cold War.
So you got
it's endless. The Watch Dogs, I think, is going to be in there. Either that or Valhalla. I don't know which one. Assassin's Creed. I don't know which one I'm going to go with. I can't afford both, and I probably don't have enough time to play through both, to be completely honest. It's a toss-up. I know Watch Dogs out there, I hear good things, but I heard it's kind of, I think it's like more of the same open world stuff, and that character stuff is not as cool as it could be.
Some of the stuff I heard was pretty neat, where like it not full Rogue Legacy traits, but like some of that stuff where like some of the characters have like, hey, this character he has a heart condition, so sometimes he might just die. So like, sometimes you might be in the middle of playing and like the guy just died. Stuff like that.
Yeah, and it had some like there's like permadeath stuff you can do with that game. I think I'm going to end the game Watch Dogs. I think that just appeals to me more than Vikings. Yeah. But yeah, there's plenty in November.
Yeah.
And that's just not me messing around with Game Pass too. Like I'm running through Tetris Effects again and going to mess around with the multiplayer. That could be anywhere from 3 hours to 20 hours. So who knows?
Now, Mark, you played some of The Witcher 3 and liked it quite a bit. Does Cyberpunk do anything for it? We haven't checked in with you and Cyberpunk in a long time, so where are we sitting?
I'm still, like... I don't have, like, a finger on its pulse, unless I see, like, a yellow box pop up online somewhere. I'm still, like, excited to play it, more so than I was initially, but I'm also, like... My hype is still, like, I'll be hyped when I'm actually playing it. So for now, I'm fine not focusing on it, not thinking about it. So.
Still on the fence. I don't know. I'm kind of on the side of, but maybe if y'all are in it and hyping it up, I could be pushed.
If you haven't, I still recommend the Night City Wire videos.
Yeah. I should, and I could do those.
It's the little things.
Give them a shot. Mark, would you also recommend Handy Harry's Haunted House Services? Oh my gosh. My new desk setup means I can't trademark the wall anymore. It's too far away, but I mean, this is a perfect opportunity to slap your TMs up on the wall. Tell me about Handy Harry's Haunted House Services here on Halloween.
So, if the title wasn't obvious enough, I guess you're a Handy Harry, one of possibly 8, and you go into a randomly generated haunted house maze of doors to find fuse boxes, turn them on, hit the main power switch, and get back to the elevator alive. So this implies there is a ghost floating around, and there is. Also, everything has like a very like, I don't want to say voxel, but everything has like a low JPEG-y look to everything. Like it is pixelated, but you are low poly models running around. So it does look a little fuzzy at first, but you have
RuneScape look to it.
A little bit. And also this game was $5, so a friend and myself were just trying to find just dumb little co-op spooky games to play. Just like in between Phasmo matches or whatever. So we're like, this looks silly. Like, why not? You can change your hat. You can buy like little costumes with like their in-game currency, which is batteries that you can find in these mazes. If you make it out alive, you get to keep them and use them towards that stuff. And then when the ghost that chases you, it kind of looks like if the Endermen were rounded out to look more human. But like they're kind of like T-posing, but bend their knees so they're hovering. But they still make footstep sounds like your friends, so you don't know if it's a ghost around or if it's your friends. And you leave a trail of your own footsteps based on the color of your hat. So you know who has been where for a little bit, and if you do get grabbed by the ghost, a jump scare happens, but the face that pops up is like just a little circle in the center of a black screen, and it's like a very pixelated face, and it's random. Then you can spectate your friends. They can pick up your flashlight, and for a cost of a battery, they can revive you in like this green portal-looking door that like clones you. So that's how you can come back. The batteries are also a good way to scare the ghost for a little bit. It will make them disappear. If you hold in the right click for like a second, it does like a camera flash like kind of thing. It makes a little high-pitched squeal like beep, kind of thing. That helps you because the more... It's kind of like Slender in a sense where like the more fuse boxes you turn on, the faster, more angrier the ghost will get and try to hunt you down. Sometimes multiple ghosts will appear. You can turn off your flashlight. I think that helps hiding, but I don't know if that works with the AI or if that's like a PvP only thing. So that's another option. Somebody can be the ghost, which I have yet to really done. I think we've only done PvE. My game has crashed maybe like a couple times where if we found all the fuses and I go to hit the main switch to turn the power back on, my game will just crash right there, because typically what would happen if your game doesn't crash is that all the doors in that maze shut and everything turns red and flickering, and that ghost is like super pissed, and you have to like, it's even harder to get back to the elevator because you don't know where the hell you are, because it's almost like a Windows 95 maze, like screensaver. Imagine that, but dim lidded, and it's just 1,000 doors, and you just it's hard to memorize where you're going. It's very difficult, at least for me. And that's basically the gist of the game. You can get through a match maybe like under 10 minutes every time, but it is fun playing with friends. Like, I have played by myself, and it's not that spooky just because of the aesthetic of the game, but it's a good time to have with friends for sure.
It reminds me a little bit of the Nintendo Land Luigi's Mansion game. Just the way you describe it?
Kind of. Just make it first person and a little more spookier. Yeah. But like I went on their Discord to report that bug, and apparently I'm not the only one. But the sole developer like responded to me about everything and was like trying to understand and like work through it, and was very understanding. I just wanted to give a shout out to him because I think that's really cool to interact with them like that firsthand. I like. There's some positive things about the internet these days that's one of them. Yeah. Like being able to kind of talk to people and have access like that is super cool. And like after
Handy Harry's.
Huh? Oh, sorry. I was just going to say that. And after our time with like messing with game stuff here and there, and just hearing your end of like dealing with bugs and all that, I can understand how much of a pain that is trying to figure out and deduce and all that. So props to him.
Handy Harry's Haunted House Services out on Steam now. $5 you said?
Normally it's $4.99, but because Steam has a Halloween sale going on for this weekend until whenever, it's like $3.99 or something like that.
Oh, nice.
Pretty dope.
Oh, and you've almost got all the achievements in it. Look at you go.
I know. I think I need one more. Which is, I need my friends to turn on the elevator and leave me behind, because I left them behind by mistake once.
Very good. That is out now. Matt, speaking of Haunted Harry's, Handy Harry's, Haunted Halloween fun time on the soccer field. You've been playing some Rocket League this week.
Yeah.
How's the ongoing changes go? Now that we're free to play, what's the game looking like here about a month in?
It's definitely more populated. The player count has been up. I think people have found some fun in sticking around. I've talked about the free to play change and like the changes to the store. It's kind of turned into pretty much the Fortnite thing, where you buy the premium currency. You can earn it through the battle pass, or what they call the rocket pass, of course, and buy it through there. But it's whatever. I'm kind of used to it. I'm getting all my stuff from the rocket pass anyway, which I am progressing through nicely. I also like what they do with the rocket pass. I don't know if Fortnite does this, but 70 is the end of the new stuff, but you can keep on going and you get like different designs of the things you're unlocking. So like they're a good example, Joe, you would like this. In the rocket pass, the wheels are skateboard wheels. It's one of the things you unlock. So it's like a little checkered skateboard wheel. I think you could probably get that in different colors or something randomly as you kind of keep going. So gives you a reason to keep on playing despite you hitting that kind of soft cap. But no, something I missed. I didn't pay much attention to. It was the tournaments in Rocket League. Now they've been in Rocket League. I just don't think they were as heavily advertised or made part of it. But one of my season challenges was to get to the quarterfinals of these tournaments 4 times. So it made me kind of jump in. And dude, these, I mean, it's just like playing Rocket League, but like they automatically match you up with others who are queuing in. There's a set amount of people that can be in it, so it's very possible for you to like join a tournament. It's full if you don't join like right as it's starting. They happen, at least East Coast, they start at 3 and there's one every 3 hours. And if you miss one, there is a second chance. They call it second chance. So if the first one was full, you can wait for that one to join. Or like if you got knocked out in time in that first round, you still have some time to join in their spots. So yeah, that's kind of there. But they run like every 3 hours, I think until like 3 a.m. Eastern time, which would be midnight West Coast time. I'm not sure if there's a 6 a.m. one or not. I have not stayed up that long to see. But no, these are fun. You get as you progress, you earn a tournament currency. So we're introducing, I think, the third currency in Rocket League. And then you can use that currency to get random like crates of different tiers, and you unlock the tiers based on how far you've gotten in these tournaments. So I'm yet to get out of the quarterfinals, so I haven't unlocked the final tier of crates that I could purchase potentially. But I think once I win a tournament, that's you get that. So
and the crates are random loot box style.
Yeah, but it's like the ones like you actually get some out of it. You don't have to buy the keys. Well, they got rid of that whole system. But yeah, no, I didn't know there was that much level to detail, and I don't know if it was there before. I just never really got into it, or if this all kind of came with the free-to-play changes. But no, I thought it was something unique that I missed, and I don't think I've ever. I mean, I know I haven't talked about it on air with this game, so something worth bringing up. I will say also, going to give a little kudos to myself. I put in the work, changed that to control scheme, relearning how to walk. Diamond. I got out of Platinum, which I've been stuck in for like 3 years. Out of it. Diamond. Boom. You can get better at this game.
I think that's promising. I think for anything, right? Like, that's just a good... I've been skateboarding a lot, and I've been trying a whole bunch of stuff, and boy, my legs just don't work. My knees constantly are in pain. And I haven't skated since like whatever day it wasn't raining last. But there's hearing that you have overcome that. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna land some stuff soon. It's gonna be okay.
There it is. Yeah,
that's inspiring. Legitimately. Well, that's updates to Rocket League. Phasmophobia also got an update this week, which Mark, you've been toying around with still, having fun with that game.
Yeah. This patch was expected. I just didn't know how soon it was going to happen. It happened a lot sooner than I thought. But it was mostly just squashing a lot of bugs. I think about 36 different bugs were fixed in this, along with 14 changes to the game, just to make things a little more streamlined and quality of life improvements, and like about 6 new additions to the game, which also just kind of clean things up a little bit with like UI and like fixing the code for things for like AI interactions and all that kind of stuff. Nothing too new besides like some games now will like do a little Halloween update. So like the main lobby room,
sure.
There is a whiteboard. If you like you start off at the whiteboard and you don't like, it's just that with whatever, like join a game, options, all that stuff, test your microphone. If you hit the space bar, you're actually in like a little warehouse, like a little tiny little room, and you can walk around in. And they have like a little basketball hoop, and you can try to shoot a basketball in there with the throw item key. And there's pictures on the wall. Whatever the last photos you took from your last match will pop up on that wall. So now in that room, they added all these jack-o'-lanterns everywhere that look really cool and spooky. And in the little upper window, it's like the only window in this room. The sky is like orange and red, and there's a scarecrow with a pumpkin head just like staring at you through the window.
See, leave that permanently, though. You know,
yeah.
Like that should always be. And in fact, if we could bring that into reality, if I can look out my windows and always see an orange, bloody sky and a scarecrow waiting,
just little embers flying around.
Yeah. I'd be good with that. Speaking of things in the periphery, as I focus on you, the vulture you have behind you on the shelf. As I'm looking at you, the vulture looks like a very angry, evil eye. The way the white of it combines with the red and then the little black dot in the center, it's difficult. But like I'm looking at you and like over there, it looks terrifying. No. Yeah. I liked it.
Yeah, he's just a little beady eye boy.
But it like perfectly shapes out an eye. Speaking of updates, PlayStation app got an update this week, which normally, okay, whatever, just a small little thing, but I poked around at this. Did you guys poke around at the PlayStation app update at all?
I did a little bit, but it's not. I already don't like it. Like at least the optimization, like the icons are too close to the little tab thing at the bottom.
There's definitely some like UX stuff that I think needs to be polished a little bit, but I like the direction they're headed in. So if you haven't played around with the new app, completely overhauled, total redesign to the main interface for the PlayStation app. The new home screen, you can kind of see up top who is online. It kind of organizes it by which games they're playing. As you scroll down, you see the 3 most recently played games and the trophy count for your profile for each game. There's a news tab that syncs official PlayStation blog news. A PlayStation Store tab lets you kind of shop right in the app and push purchases to your consoles. Messages are now fully integrated, and you can do voice chat and party groups in the app. And then PlayStation 5 owners will be able to remotely manage storage on the console, which that's an exciting thing upcoming. What is this app doing well or better than it did before that you had been wanting for a long time? If anything.
I mean, I use different voice chat things at this point, but I do like the idea of just like getting into the voice chat right through my phone using PlayStation and having at least cutting down on the number of Sony apps that I need to have on my phone. We're totally getting rid of messages and bringing that in. That's like, thank you for finally doing that. Although,
yeah, I remember when they made
that iOS 14. Split. Yeah, too bad iOS 14 already fixed that problem for me, but still, like,
I know.
Yeah, it's still nice to have that that messages app out of there.
Mark, anything stand out here that you're like, I like that?
It was pretty much what Matt said with the messaging. I hated having that. Like, I don't even use messaging, so I just hated having just another app that I'm not using on my phone. It's like, that was cool. It does look a lot cleaner going through everything.
Yeah, the fact that like everything's in the one space and it's not, because before you had to hit that PlayStation button in the bottom middle and then it would load up with a list of other PlayStation apps you could jump to if they were installed on your phone.
Yeah,
that just always sucked. So I like that it's all single integration. Anything you think the app could be doing better? And I guess to extend that, like, is there one of these apps that does anything perfectly?
I think, now I don't know because I haven't tested it out, so I could be wrong. If I'm going to compare, I guess, to like Xbox's app, I like the fact with Xbox that you can use your app as an optional controller for navigation. I don't think the PlayStation has that function.
There is a second screen app you can download separately and use with PS4 sometimes,
separate app,
but
so it's not on the new one. They
integrated that here. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if it's in here or not. I haven't tried. But I know that like for remote play, I still have to use a separate app. Where I think on the Xbox app, remote play, everything's all in one single app now.
Yeah.
I would like to see. I like that everything's kind of there. I like that they're doing better stuff with group stuff. Like, not that we ever do, but when we do, I think that having it all integrated into one spot is very nice. I would like to see better. I'm always going to go back to it. And I'm sorry, or I'm not sorry, but just stat tracking. Like, how long have I been playing this? What have I been doing? That kind of stuff. I think Steam does that really, really well, but the Steam app on mobile is just in long need of an update or a refresh. I think the Steam client, desktop client, got a good, still could probably use a bump, but it did get a little bump last year with that library update. I think more of that on the mobile side where it doesn't look like it's just loading a web page because it is, would be nice.
Also, the store, like, has that happened yet?
Yeah.
Oh, that's it.
It's weird. Yeah, it's bad.
Oh.
I have. I want to fire up my PS3 and actually see what it looks like on there and what it loads like. Actually, we're right here. I'm gonna do this on my Vita and just see.
Good luck.
I had a reminder to buy a game on PS3 in my phone, and it popped up the other day, and I was like, "Oh, let me." No, sorry, I'll mute this. I was like, "Let me see what that looks like now." If I try and open that web link, just a dead page. Just doesn't even load anymore. If you have like an existing web link to a PS3 game on the store, just nothing. So that's fun. I want to see what the PS3 looks like. The Vita store loaded faster than I'm used to it loading. That's actually not terrible. I'm like zipping around the Vita store, so maybe they fixed that.
Now I'm curious to try out my PS TV and see what that looks like.
Yeah, because this is snappy. Let's check out the download list. That was always the download list is like immediate.
That's because you can't do anything with it now. Okay.
But, or maybe, I don't know. Jury's out on the Vita. I'm going to check the PS3 at some point and find out what that looks like. But yeah, in terms of like the web store for PS4 or anything else, not too hot. What is too hot, or maybe might be, Matt will weigh in on this one. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. We learned Warzone will be folded into or merged with Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War in December. It looks like there's going to be separate progression still existing within Black Ops Cold War, but players will be able to bring that progression and its weapons into Warzone, and then you'll be able to choose between your loadouts for Black Ops or Modern Warfare. I think reading this, knowing what I know about Call of Duty through living vicariously through Matt for the year, I think this makes a lot of sense for how to handle that mode. Like, I think Warzone was I think Modern Warfare was super well received initially. Then Warzone rolls out and just makes that game and that whole approach even better. Warzone did really well on its own as a standalone client from Modern Warfare, but I think it all makes sense. How do you think this impacts like the growing lore they've been building separately in the world of Verdansk?
I think it's all coming back to like the same. I don't think it's going to really have any impact because they already leaned into like Cold War being part of this lore, and the this is good timing on it was good timing with the Modern Warfare reboot, like soft reboot, and then kind of Black Ops. I mean, despite it being a continuation of the Black Ops series and timeline, like this kind of feels like a reboot for that series as well. Like it's good. Like with them rebooting both at the same time, they're easily able to kind of plug and play how Verdansk works and things like that. This I will say though, with the Cold War stuff coming over, it's gonna be very interesting. I want to see how they pull it off because I haven't played Cold War, but they do run on a little bit different tech from what I've seen and reviewed, or not, I've seen reviews of. But like they're gonna have to take that gun model and like you just can't like copy and paste it. Like they're gonna have to like kind of remake it almost in the Modern Warfare engine to make it work in Warzone. So I don't know how they're gonna do it. It's gonna be tough. And then also like they said about the loadouts, does that include perks? And how do the perks? I'm sure the perks are different between Cold War and Modern Warfare. So it's gonna get weird. It's gonna get really weird. And the other thing about that is like I don't know if you're making a pure loadout from Black Ops, or if you can mix and match between the two. Like, can I run with a Modern Warfare sniper, but my submachine gun come from Black Ops, or is it going to be like, all right, well, this one is a Cold War one, and this one is Modern Warfare. So, yeah, it's I'm curious to see how it all shakes out.
Do you think that this time next year Warzone could support a third game, or do you think that Modern Warfare will slowly be pushed away from this and let Black Ops take over and then the next one come in next? Or
well, it depends how they want to do this, because the third studio is not a thing anymore, so it might flip back to a Modern Warfare game anyway.
Interesting. Or Warzone just takes over entirely.
Yeah.
Mark, which of your favorite franchises could benefit from a shared mode like this? Something that kind of bridges the gap between two other games. I guess Hyrule Warriors kind of does this, doesn't it? That new Age of Calamity.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, but like those are also like two completely different games, right? Like two different franchises kind of thing, in a sense. This is all kind of under the same umbrella for Call of Duty, which was kind of like low-key reminding me of like Master Chief Collection. You don't really have saved loadouts between the games, but you do have your overall, like, I guess, like ranking or...
Yeah, that progression.
Yeah. That's what it first reminded me of, but something that could like benefit from that, I don't know. I guess in a way, I guess Phantasy Star is kind of doing that, right?
Oh yeah, with the new Genesis stuff?
Yeah, like that, and in online too, you can still use your same account and your same character, and you can jump between both of those games.
Yeah, that's kind of wild. I keep forgetting that that's a thing that's happening. But that is a fun, exciting...
Yeah.
I like being able to carry progression like that across multiple... the idea of that behind Destiny was really cool, but I'm just so far removed from that at this point that whatever they're doing... Yeah.
I don't think Final Fantasy 11 and 14 had that type of feature, did they? I don't think you could transfer a character from 11 to 14.
No, but maybe 17.
Maybe.
Time will tell. We've got our final question of the week. With Genshin Impact already out and seemingly doing pretty well, people seem to like that. First, have you guys played Genshin Impact? Any interest in playing that? Where do we sit on Genshin Impact? I saw Matt shake his head no.
No, I really don't know what it is. Like I know it's out there, but like
yeah,
I've seen people talking about it, but I don't even know like kind of what game it is.
It seems very Breath of the Wild inspired, but I don't know. Is it multiplayer? Is it single player?
I think it's just single player.
Yeah, but it's kind of like an adventure game, like a Breath of the Wild, but free to play, and
it has like a gacha factor.
That's the part that's turning me off from it, and the fact that I saw the one thing that really bugged me about it. This is like petty, but there was a character animation that was literally frame by frame copied from 2B, and I was like, "Oh, I don't like this." Like it seems.
I don't know. I know it can be played on mobile. Is this on everything?
Yeah, it is on. I know it's not on Switch, but it is on mobile, and I think it runs really well on mobile. Surprisingly, PlayStation, I've heard that it's not super hot running, but it still works, and then PC also.
Okay, because I am curious to try this, and believe it or not, the gacha factor was kind of roping me in. I kind of like the idea of just, even if it's a character you don't like, you have multiple, you can have a whole multiple like bank of characters that you can switch between on the fly. So I think that could be pretty interesting if you let that build up.
All right, maybe I'll take a look at this week. I did not mean for this question of the week to turn into, all right, I think I'm going to go play Genshin Impact after this podcast. But,
yeah, I don't know how good it'll be, but I'm curious.
Yeah, so Genshin Impact, and then the upcoming Immortals Phoenix Rising unapologetically borrow traversal and other aspects from The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So surely, after Breath of the Wild made such an impact, other developers are set to release their take on these systems. What games or game series is in need of Breath of the Wild inspiration, in your two opinions? Is there a franchise poised, ready to strike?
My first answer is Sonic.
Please elaborate. Like that, you just...
Okay, so the way I've been seeing like the community making games in their own styles for Sonic, there's so many variations, but my favorite is having just a one continuous open world for Sonic. That way you don't have to worry about I mean, at least for 3D Sonic is obviously what I'm implying here. But like, you don't have to worry about dumb little narrow ways or like just these weird platforms you have to get through that like ruin your momentum or something if you're running. At least this way, you can kind of like Ocarina of Time, Breath of the Wild, whatever. You can travel to each of these different zones through like that center big area where you can just go through these giant loops or these giant corkscrews and just do what you just get the run. You just get the fucking run. Sorry. Like, I think that's the biggest part of it. So like, you can see like robotics, like layered like city pollution in one side. You can see like some weird temple. You can see Angel Island up in the sky, or you can just go to all of that. Or you can be Tails in a plane if you wanted, or you can be Knuckles swimming around and climbing. Like, just let them be free. Let it be what Sonic 06 was trying to be without the loading screens. And you can maybe travel to Station Square and whatever. Like, just have it all connected.
Matt, would you play a Sonic inspired by Breath of the Wild?
No, because we all know Breath of the Wild is like not my favorite game either. So,
well, do you have a different answer you would like to see take inspiration from Breath of the Wild?
I couldn't think of a really good answer, but I had the car vibe. So like maybe like Need for Speed. That franchise, one, just needs a reboot in general. I know that there are another one's coming soon, but just needs the help. But then, like, I don't know, full on open world, and you just kind of get lost in it. Like, you know, you take out the Manus, the dumb stories, and just let it be like a car game and have it somewhat online, so that way you can kind of challenge people anytime. Kind of like what Forza Horizon did almost. I know it's not the best answer, but I couldn't think of anything better.
No, I agree. I think Need for Speed is in need of something. They did a little bit of that. That Manu game did have some kind of like, it was an open map. You just kind of drove around and whatever. But yeah, I think the Forza Horizon stuff is, I think that's a good approach. Reimagines that a little bit.
Because you can do weird things. I was like, you can do weird things with it. Like, you can like stumble upon like an underground race circuit that turns into like something like that. You can.
That's the key thing from Breath of the Wild, is the fact that you would be wandering through Breath of the Wild with a waypoint in mind and just get distracted and find something completely cool. And I think that's what Need for Speed needs.
Yeah.
And now you got me thinking. This is not my answer, but I want a Tony Hawk's Underground that's like that, like with sessions. Control scheme where I can actually feel it, because that's what honestly, like, that's what I've been doing IRL, is just when I go out to skate, I have a couple spots that I've been going to, but there are days where I just cruise on my skateboard, just find weird pockets of neighborhoods or behind closed businesses and stuff like that, and just see what's out there. That's like a big part of the draw for me, is like this kind of urban exploration, whatever. You put that in a video game with a skateboard beneath my feet, sign me up. But I was thinking of Tomb Raider, because I think we are past the Tomb Raider copying Uncharted a little, right? Like, Uncharted was Tomb Raider with Nathan Drake and more cinematic, so then Tomb Raider kind of trickled back to that. But we are poised for another Tomb Raider reboot at some point, and I think if they look at Breath of the Wild, I think the stuff that Uncharted and Tomb Raider cannot do again is like, you're climbing and you can really climb, but really you're just pushing up on a predetermined path. Like, the fact that in Breath of the Wild, like, you could see it, you could climb it, that's what Tomb Raider needs, with the added, I think, a bigger exploration on the tombs, going into the underground and finding things. Like, hopefully Breath of the Wild has that. Yeah, the wall jumping too, Mark, that was good. Yeah. Like, all of that stuff with Lara, if you could be doing that in a big open world and then have it unlock and uncover more things about the world as you're going through, like, you're finding artifacts that lead to other things, and there's actual puzzle solving as a human being outside of the game. I think that would be really, really fun and exciting.
I like that.
Also, if Lara could glide, that'd be pretty sick too.
Yeah,
I'd be down. So I guess the moral of the story is I'm going to play Genshin Impact today somewhere. I guess I'll download it on my iPad. Well, that was a show. We are rapidly approaching the finals of who would win in a fight. We introduced a new segment this week. We both play, or I'm sorry. See, I've been just saying we both for so long. We've all three played quite a heck of a lot of games this week. if you're listening to this now, I hope you had a fantastic Halloween. But we all are about to celebrate Halloween as we speak. So we're going to sign off and go do just that. I got a big solid black cake. Katie bought us just a black cake with black icing and everything is black. So I am ready for the night. And we made up, I'll report back next week, but we made up bags of candy for the children. Don't know if trick-or-treats are going to happen, but we're going to put them down at the bottom, near the sidewalk with hand sanitizer and just see what happens. And we'll sit up on the porch 20 feet away and just wave and say Happy Halloween, whatever. I don't know. We'll find out. You guys got Halloween plans?
Not really.
Hanging out, playing Nintendo?
Yeah, something like that.
I will be in New Jersey. I am going on a Crystal Lakes tour, which is this campground that's obviously not called Camp Crystal Lake, but it's dubbed that because that was a filming location for Friday the 13th, Part 1. So that will be my night.
That's rad.
Hopefully I come back alive. Stay tuned.
If not, it's been fun, Yeah, I'm excited. When you told me you were doing that sounds like a fun adventure up there. So we'll report back next week with stories of trick-or-treaters. We'll find out what Matt eventually did on Halloween and whether or not Marc made it out alive. If you want to follow in real time, you can get all the latest hot scoops from the Free Cheese on Twitter. The Free Cheese is at Some Free Cheese. Marc is at @og_mental. Matt is at MattyIce131. Podcast at thefreecheese.com is an email address where you can send emails to an email address from your email address, and no matter what you write, we'll read it on the air unless it's an ad for buying silver, which is what I got this week. That's right, invest in silver. Gold is out. Get your silver now.
My brother did.
That's it for us. We'll be back next week with another episode. Thank you, Marc. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, listener, for listening. Happy Halloween.